Completely unexpected twists and turns that took place yesterday in Pakistan that's only further aggravated the political crisis and turmoil in the country. Imran Khan is no longer the Pakistan Prime Minister, but that's not because of the no confidence motion as the National Assembly was dissolved yesterday. A three-member bench of the Pakistan Supreme Court will continue to hear a suo motu notice against the dissolution of the Assembly. While hearing the matter yesterday, Pakistan's Chief Justice Umar Atta Bandial had said that all orders and actions initiated by Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Arif Alvi are subject to the orders of the Supreme Court. And the court has ordered all parties, including the opposition, to avoid taking any unconstitutional measures until the bench delivers a verdict on the plea. Essentially, two petitions have been filed, both against the dissolution of the National Assembly. One petition has been filed by the opposition, the other by the Pakistan Supreme Court Bar Association. The second petition, that's by the Supreme Court Bar Association, says that the Speaker's move is illegal as the resolution to hold the trust vote was already taken on March 28th. Imran Khan has been denotified as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He's going to continue to hold office for the moment until the appointment of a caretaker Prime Minister.
पाकिस्तान की तारीख में ये स्याह तरीन दिन गिना जाएगा कि जिस तरीके से आइन शिकनी की गई है और जिस तरीके से इस ऐवान की रवायात को पामाल किया गया है, ये तारीख की औराक में हमेशा स्याह दिन के तौर पर याद रखा जाएगा।
स्पीकर की रूलिंग आ गई है जिसको मैं क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकता। आप करना चाहें तो जरूर कर ले, मैं नहीं कर सकता।
कमीशन भी तो नहीं बना जो जिस पे रूलिंग दी, जिस आर्टिकल पे रूलिंग दी उस पे कोई कमीशन बना, कोई फाइंडिंग्स आई? कहना है प्लीज,
रूलिंग आ गई है, उस रूलिंग को मैं चैलेंज नहीं कर सकता। जिसने करना है वो कर ले।
जुमा 25 मार्च 2022 को तलब करदा इजलास इसके काम के इख्तिताम पर बाज़रिया हाज़िर बर्खास्त करता हूं।
Dramatic twist in Pakistan's political power game. Chaos breaks out after Imran Khan's bouncer. Pakistan Prime Minister losing numbers, staring at certain defeat and ouster from power. Decided to cling on to power via back door. Imran dramatically called for dissolution of parliament and fresh polls. Moments after the speaker dropped a bombshell and rejected the no trust motion.
25 मार्च 2022 को तलब करदा इजलास इसके काम के इख्तिताम पर बाज़रिया हाज़िर बर्खास्त करता हूं।
Imran Khan called for fresh elections after no confidence motion against him was rejected in the National Assembly.
अल्लाह इस कौम के ऊपर देख रहा है। 27 रमज़ान को ये पाकिस्तान वजूद में आया था। ये इस तरह की साजिश इंशाअल्लाह ये कौम कामयाब नहीं होने देगी। मैं आज अपनी सारी कौम को मुबारक देना चाहता हूँ कि नेशनल असेंबली के हमारे स्पीकर ने मुस्तरद किया, रिजेक्ट किया एक वो मूव, रिजीम चेंज की जो कोशिश की गई थी पाकिस्तान के 22 करोड़ अवाम में, एक बाहर से प्लान किया हुआ नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन जिसके पीछे एक फॉरेन एजेंडा था, और जो आज स्पीकर ने उसको जो रिजेक्ट किया है और ये नो कॉन्फिडेंस को जो रिजेक्ट किया, मैं सारी कौम को आज मुबारक देता हूँ। तो जो स्पीकर ने आज जो अपनी अथॉरिटी, अपनी जो पावर, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पावर यूज़ करके जो फैसला किया है, अब इसके बाद मैंने अभी से प्रेसिडेंट साहब को वो भेज दिया है, एडवाइस भेज दी है कि असेंबलियां डिसॉल्व करें। एक डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी में हम डेमोक्रेट्स अवाम के पास जाएं, अवाम से इलेक्शंस हों, अवाम फैसला करे कि वो किसको चाहती है।
Before Imran-backed Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri nullified the motion and termed it against the Constitution.
We're at the Parliament right now, and the opposition is holding its own session after the Deputy Speaker adjourned the session till an indefinite period and rejected the no trust motion against Prime Minister Imran Khan. the opposition held voting on the no trust motion during this session of its own, and the no trust motion has passed with 195 members voting in favor of it. This is of course not official because this is just an informal session of the opposition, and we are waiting to hear from them about the future strategy that they're going to adopt.
The Prime Minister's close aide and INB Minister Fawad Chaudhry cried foul play and claimed foreign conspiracy to topple the government.
7 मार्च को ये बताया जाता है अदम एतमाद उस वक्त तक पाकिस्तान में नहीं आती, 8 मार्च को आती है। इस वक्त तक पाकिस्तान में भी किसी को नहीं पता अदम एतमाद है। हमारे स्पीकर साहब को बताया जाता है कि पाकिस्तान से आपके हमारे ताल्लुकात का दारोमदार इस अदम एतमाद की कामयाबी पर है। एक इफेक्टिव ऑपरेशन है जनाब स्पीकर regime change का by a foreign government.
Khan sent a proposal to President Arif Alvi to dissolve the assembly, essentially making way for early elections to be held in Pakistan. The president soon obliged. After the unexpected move in the National Assembly, opposition staged protest inside the House, conducted its own session, staying adamant on ousting Imran. A jubilant PTI tweeted images of a smug Imran Khan in all smiles after the trust vote stunner. Imran has decided to stay on as the Prime Minister in a caretaker role before polls. The opposition says it is just a facade to destroy democracy and stay on in power despite lacking numbers. Who will have the last laugh in the Pakistan political quagmire? With Alia Zehra in Islamabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's get you all the updates of what's expected in Pakistan today. Kawar Naeem, journalist from Islamabad, is joining us on this broadcast. Kawar, good morning. Thank you for speaking to us here on India Today. Endless twists and turns that we witnessed yesterday. Can you give us a sense of what's expected today? Because I'm sure everyone's going to be very closely watching what's happening in the Pakistan Supreme Court. So what time is that hearing expected?
We are also waiting curiously here in Pakistan. Yesterday, as you witnessed, that Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri nullified the no confidence motion, declaring it a foreign conspiracy against the sitting government. And soon after he nullified the no confidence motion, the opposition parties decided to contact Supreme Court, but Supreme Court took the suo motu action. The Chief Justice of Pakistan, Umar Ata Bandial Saab, and with a bench of 3 judges, with a bench of 3 members, he is hearing this case on a suo motu basis. And yesterday the court started its hearing, and today the court was yesterday adjourned till 1 p.m. today here in Pakistan. 1 p.m. means 1:30 IST time. So today the hearing will resume, and we are expecting that the court will work on fast track basis, because on the both sides, the opposition claims that the deputy speaker violated the constitution, whereas deputy speaker took the case under Article 5. Article 5 means Article 5 deals with the loyalty to the states. So if we can interpret it, we can say that the government is declaring that the members who filed this no confidence motion are not loyal to Pakistan. And if you are disloyal to a country, which means this can, I think so, but the law experts and the Supreme Court is the right forum which will interpret it, but this will take you to the Article 6 as well, which you know what is the plenty of Article 6. And when we talk about Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri is under the stay from the Supreme Court. His own appointment has been questioned in the past, and he's on the stay orders which were stayed to him by Supreme Court. His voting and his appointment was challenged in the court, as you know, in the Balochistan High Court. So the things are very complicated. They are not as simple as they seem, or they are not as simple as to be interpreted, or this is going to win or this side is going to lose. Okay. Because on the both sides, we are witnessing that the constitution is being violated from the both sides. But let's see which one, sorry, not both the sides, from the government side. As the government nullified the no confidence motion without even hearing, or without having the voting.
In such a circumstance, from what you're telling us, Kawar, can you give us a sense of, what is the possibility of the Supreme Court actually stepping in? What can they do? Can they actually hold the dissolution of the assembly here?
Actually, Article 69 of Pakistan's constitution deals that the ruling of parliament cannot be questioned in the court of law. So we have to see if the court interferes in the ruling or not. So this is quite interesting and complicated. This is not simple, as I told you. So Supreme Court has its own boundaries that it cannot interfere in the rulings of the parliament, and parliament has a boundary, constitutional boundary, that it has to conduct voting on no confidence motion. So we should wait, and we are waiting how does Supreme Court interprets this whole situation, because Supreme Court has a boundary not to interfere in the ruling of the parliament, whereas parliament is bound to conduct voting when the no confidence motion is presented in the parliament within the 14 days. So we have to see which sides the Supreme Court goes.
Okay.
So today
It'll be definitely interesting to watch what happens in the Supreme Court. And Kawar, we're going to keep coming across to you for those updates. For the moment, thank you very much for joining us. Stay with us here on India Today, because through the day, we're going to get you all the updates of what's expected in the Pakistan Supreme Court today. There have been a lot of questions also on what the Pakistan armies had to say about all of this political drama. Well, the army chief finally spoke out yesterday, saying that they have nothing to do with all of this politics and that it's only involving the political parties of Pakistan. But he did make one thing very, very clear, where the army stands as far as Imran Khan's charge of a foreign conspiracy and the United States involved in this. The Pakistan army chief has said very clearly that the United States has nothing to do with any of this, with this no confidence motion or a so-called conspiracy against Imran Khan, referring to America as a reliable partner.
एक बाहर से प्लान किया हुआ नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन जिसके पीछे एक फॉरेन एजेंडा था.
It has become the single biggest refrain for Imran Khan to cling on to his chair. An imaginary bogey which has given Imran the proverbial fig leaf. The bogey of a powerful foreign hand, out to topple him.
Because it's ridiculous.
Because of his solidarity trip to Russia. Imran has made it known to the world that he is referring to the United States. Naming US Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs Donald Lu as the person who warned Pakistan envoy to US and was instrumental in no confidence motion against his government. Imran Khan has used this plank to trash the opposition, which clearly aced the number game.
मैं आज अपनी सारी कौम को मुबारक देना चाहता हूँ कि नेशनल असेंबली के हमारे स्पीकर ने मुस्तरद किया, रिजेक्ट किया एक वो मूव रिजीम चेंज की जो कोशिश की गई थी पाकिस्तान के 22 करोड़ अवाम में, एक बाहर से प्लान किया हुआ नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन जिसके पीछे एक फॉरेन एजेंडा था, और जो आज स्पीकर ने उसको जो रिजेक्ट किया है और ये नो कॉन्फिडेंस को जो रिजेक्ट किया, मैं सारी कौम को आज मुबारक देता हूं.
But Pakistan Army Chief Qamar Bajwa has rejected Imran's attack on the US, calling Washington one of the most reliable partners of Pakistan.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Equally, we share a long history of excellent and strategic relationship with the United States, which remains our largest export market. We seek to broaden and expand our ties with both countries without impacting our relations with the other.
We are neutral. Pakistan Army has absolutely nothing to do with what happened in the National Assembly. Despite professional neutrality, the Pakistan Army remains the single biggest factor calling the shots in Islamabad. It ruled the coup-prone country for more than half of its 73+ years of existence. Imran maintains the army gave him 3 options to resolve the political crisis: his resignation, facing no confidence, or calling early elections.
उन्होंने ऑप्शंस दिए थे मुझे, और वो ऑब्वियसली हमारी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट है, उन्होंने ऑफर दी कि जी 3 चीज़ें हैं, या आप अदम एतमाद का वोट चले जाएं, या आप इस्तीफ़ा दे दें, और या इलेक्शन. हमने कहा इलेक्शन सबसे बेहतर तरीका है, इस्तीफ़ा मैं कभी सोच भी नहीं सकता, और अदम एतमाद वोट का मतलब ये कि मैं तो बिलीव करता हूँ कि आखिरी मिनट तक लड़ूंगा.
Imran has been on an overdrive meeting the Pakistan Army generals recently. Is he playing by the Pakistan military rulebook? Bureau Report, India Today.
There's a reason that today there's so much talk of the Pakistan army. Imran Khan has time and again been referred to as a Pakistan army puppet, and every government has essentially played to the tunes of exactly whatever the Pakistan army says. There's a reason for that. The army in Islamabad, in Pakistan, is extremely powerful, also reportedly extremely corrupt. In our next report, we tell you about the kind of wealth that the army in Pakistan has amassed. Pakistan's armed forces has always had the final say. After ruling the country for half of its history, the Pakistan military, even till date, acts as the towering authority, calling shots behind the scenes. Pakistan's civilian leaders have long clashed with the military. They either go along with the army or stand at risk of being ousted. This time, it's Imran Khan who's fallen out of favour. While all fingers currently point at Imran Khan for economic mismanagement, here's a look at the kind of wealth the Pakistan army has raked up over the years. One of the reasons why they're entrenched in the country's politics. From street corner petrol pumps to banks, sprawling industrial parks, dairy farms, cement plants, schools to bakery houses, the Pakistan army through its different trusts is known to be the biggest business house in Pakistan. The Pakistan army controls over 50 conglomerates worth approximately $20 billion. Yes, that's the estimated wealth Pakistan army has generated. In a written response to a question by a senator from the Pakistan People's Party, the then Defence Minister Khwaja Asif admitted there are nearly 50 projects, units and housing colonies functioning in the country under the administrative control of Fauji Foundation, Shaheen Foundation, Bharia Foundation, Army Welfare Foundation, Defence Housing Authorities. The Pakistan Army's most prized assets are the several housing societies in 8 cities of Pakistan. They boast of land worth over 2 lakh crore rupees. Army officers are entitled to receiving prime land at discounted rates. In fact, profits from these businesses are distributed among shareholders, many of whom are now retired soldiers. The Pakistan Army and its corrupt practices have been widely discussed. Aisha Siddiqa, the author who detailed information on Pakistan's military wealth in her book called Military Inc. Inside Pakistan's Military Economy, claims that Pakistan Army's private wealth is split between $10 billion in land and $10 billion in private military assets. She also estimates that military controls 1/3 of all heavy manufacturing in the country and up to 7% of Pakistani private assets. Meanwhile, according to Credit Suisse's February 2022 report, 25 former Pakistan Army officers have accounts in Swiss banks. Undeclared assets of about 80,000 crore rupees deposited, 15,000 crore rupees deposited in the account of former ISI chief General Akhtar Abdul Rahman Khan, and 500 accounts linked to 1,400 Pakistani citizens. Some of the most prominent Pakistani army men who've been accused of large-scale corruption include General Shafatullah Shah's property worth 5,000 crores was exposed in London. Former ISI chief Major General Nusrat Naeem's offshore companies worth 2,700 crores came to light. Former Army Chief General Ashfaq Kiani's brothers involved in multi-billion housing scandal in Islamabad. General Asad Dur was found to have undeclared assets worth 2,000 crores in a Swiss bank. General Asim Salim Bajwa invested 22,000 crores in American pizza chain Papa John's. General Rahman allegedly helped funnel billions of dollars in cash and other aid from the United States and other countries to aid Afghanistan's Mujahideen in their fight against the Soviet Union in the 80s. General Parvez Musharraf has built nearly 30 properties, fancy farmhouses, luxury apartments in the Middle East and London, along with houses in Karachi and other Pakistani cities. And it's not as if the Pakistan army is underpaid. A 3-star general retires as a billionaire in Pakistani rupees. Pakistan state gives concessional plots, both commercial and residential, along with huge grants of agricultural land. There are innumerable scandals and sordid stories of financial bungling, of bribery, extortion and more by serving and retired generals for personal profit. There are also reports of their involvement in smuggling rackets and narcotics trafficking. So far in the history of Pakistan, 72 officers above the rank of major have been suspended on charges of corruption. Bureau Report, India Today. There's a big she factor in Imran Khan's life. What exactly do we mean by that? Well, it's essentially women who seem to be deciding Imran Khan's fate, both in his political as well as personal life. From his ex-wife, Rahim Khan, exposing Imran Khan time and again, to Mariam Khan essentially leading this particular coup, political coup against him, and his current wife, Bushra Bibi, constantly rooting for him. Here's our next report, a very, very interesting one about the she factor in Imran's life.
जादू की छड़ी तो इमरान खान साहब कहते हैं उनके पास थी, शायद जादू की छड़ी अब उनसे कहीं खो गई है। ना वो किसी के दोस्त हैं, ना उनका कोई दोस्त है, और ये बड़ी एक लोनली पोजीशन भी है। लेकिन जाहिर है कि आप जिस तरह से होते हैं वैसे ही लोग आप के साथ जुड़ते हैं। Imran Khan has not survived. I think Imran Khan is gone.
Yes, these claims were made by Imran Khan's ex-wife, Rahim Khan.
Imran Khan has not survived. I think Imran Khan is gone.
There's a big she factor at work in Imran Khan's life, and this she factor is revolving around 3 women. Now understand it this way. Mariam Khan is trying to topple Imran Khan's government. Bushra Bibi is trying to save it from sorcery. While Rahim Khan is revealing Imran Khan's secrets. Today, Imran is battling his hardest political battle, and Mariam Nawaz is the key factor behind it. From the politics of the number game to Imran's public image, Mariam is after Imran.
अगर पाकिस्तान में कोई डीजल कहलाने का हकदार है, उसका क्या नाम है? इमरान खान। क्योंकि हाथ उठा के गवाही देना गुजरांवाला वालों, डीजल जितना आज महंगा है कभी महंगा हुआ? तो फिर डीजल कौन? आवाज नहीं आई। डीजल कौन? झूठा कौन? नौसरबाज कौन? बदजुबान कौन? बदतमीज कौन? मुनाफिक कौन? रोटी चोर कौन?
Mariam is doing everything to oust Imran Khan. On the other hand, Rahim Khan has dented the image of Imran. After Imran and British social activist Jamima Khan's divorce, Rahim Khan entered Imran's life as his second wife. Imran married Rahim on 6th January 2015 in Islamabad. This was her second marriage. But just 9 months later, the two parted ways. Rahim Khan, who's accused of taking advantage of Imran Khan's fame to come to the limelight, made some serious allegations against Imran in her book. Rahim said that women in Imran's party, PTI, have to sleep with him in order to get higher ranks in the party. This is how the she factor has dented Imran Khan's life. Rahim Khan is still vocal against Imran. Imran Khan, in fact, had termed his second marriage as the biggest mistake of his life. Bureau Report, India Today.